Hi, I am Ayessa Dungog from BEd 1A. Now let's move on to the threats to biodiversity. There are major threats to biodiversity that were identified by the United Nations Environment Program. These are habitat loss and destruction, alterations in ecosystem composition, overexploitation, pollution and contamination, and global climate change. Habitat loss and destruction is a big threat to the survival of biodiversity. It is usually caused by human activities, but can also be caused by natural disasters like tsunamis, earthquakes, hurricanes, and etc. Alterations in ecosystem composition, such as the loss or decline of a species, can lead to a loss of biodiversity. Alterations and sudden changes, either within species groups or within the environment, could begin to change the entire ecosystem. Alterations in ecosystems are a critical factor contributing to species and habitat loss. Pollution and contamination. Our oceans sustain life. An abundant ocean can feed a billion people a healthy meal every day forever. But now, they are being killed by throwing away plastics. The equivalent of one garbage truck of plastic is dumped in the sea every minute, 17.6 billion pounds every year. Plastic is everywhere in our ocean, floating on the surface, mixing in the salt water, and sitting on the ocean bottom miles and miles deep. And once in the ocean, it never goes away. Over hundreds of years, it breaks down into small pieces, but those pieces, even the tiny ones called microplastic, are still plastic. Sea turtles are choking on them. Scientists say that over 60% of whale and dolphin species are affected by it. Global climate change. Places where the average weather over time defines what kind of plants and animals can live there. Rainforests, deserts, prairies, and tundra are just some examples, and humans can live in all of them. When it gets uncomfortably warm, we can wear light clothes, turn on the air conditioning, or spend more time in some place cool. For plants and animals, things are not that easy. They live in particular biomes because they are best adapted to the weather, soil, and daylight found in those places. Some animals can tolerate big swings in weather and can find food from many different sources, so they will be able to survive and stay where they are currently found. Species with more specific needs will have to move to other areas to find what they need to survive. Those that can't find those conditions quickly enough will die. Climate change may be an even bigger challenge for plants since they can't get up and live like animals. Plants rely on their seeds and being dispersed by wind, water, and animals. Like animals, some plant species can tolerate environmental extremes, so their range may not be affected by climate change. Other plants are not so flexible and will go extinct unless a seed lands in the right place for long-term growth or humans move them and care for them. Crops will be affected too. While our domestic plants have been bred to have climatic tolerances, different crops still grow best in different parts of the country. Bountiful crops need timely seasonal water and temperature changes, plus appropriate day length and soil quality. As climate change, temperature, and precipitation patterns will change. Farmers will need to shift where they grow certain crops. However, Simply planting further north might not always work. Although climate change in soil might be perfect, days will be shorter, so crops may not mature enough to produce food. The warming global climate has already impacted ecosystems and threatened many species. As it progresses, it will bring even more chaos and loss of biodiversity around the world.